I'm here again today to show you how to take ordinary materials and turn them into something useful. Everybody has a 2x4 laying around, an old piece of particle board or plywood, scraps you see here, and many others that I may have laying around here. I'm going to take this pallet and I'm going to turn it into a desk. I need a desk, and I need it right here in this corner. So I want to show you how I'm going to do this. I have an idea in my head on what I want. I do not have a plan. I don't have a rhyme for a reason. But we're going to build a desk, and I'm inviting you to follow along with this. As I built this, we'll build it together. We may make some mistakes. I may hit my finger. I don't know. We'll see how this turns out. Marvin Schwartz. Can it be fixed? It sure can, and you can do it. Well, the first thing you'll want to do is determine a height that you want your desk. And to do that, I measure existing desks. 34 seems a bit high. I'm going to go with 32 inches to the top of my desk. That might be too low for some of you, but for me, I believe it's going to work great. Okay, I have a pencil here, and I'm going to mark 32 inches on my tape. Now that's the finished height that I want for this desk. So we'll go 32 inches here, and we'll go 32 inches here. Now, by just doing that, I don't know if this concrete is level. So it's a good idea to either get a level and level it, or you could actually measure from something that is level. Now, if you look up there, you can't see it, but the ceiling in this building is 100% straight and level. So I'm going to run my tape up there and hit that, and I'm going to measure this first line. That measures 138 inches. So for this cup to set level, this should measure 138 inches from that ceiling. So you can figure out ways to level something up without buying a level. This is just one way. 138 inches. Now, you know what? That's only off about 1/2 inch, but it is off, so we will make that 138 inches. And then what you want to do is grab a straight edge. Anything would work, like this piece of wood. What I do is I sight it, and that's crookeder than a dog's hind leg. Perfect, it'll work. Put that up there like that, line to lines, and then go at it and mark it. There's your straight line. To double check that again for height to make sure that's where I want it, I'm going to do this. I think that's going to work perfect for me. That's what I'm going to build my desk to. Now, the first thing in building a desk is you want to get a ledge across there to rest your top on. What I was going to use is this pallet. And I was going to attach it like that and put a top on it. And I think that will be perfect. So, but what I want to do, I'm thinking, give me a minute, I don't have a plan here. Okay, I've got a plan now. What I'm going to do is measure this right here. Get the measurement of this. Let me get my, stay. Oh, okay, don't. I'll get my tape. That measures 4 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to measure down 4 3/4 of an inch. 4 3/4 of an inch. 4 3/4 of an inch. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and make a line there. The reason I'm doing this is the top of the 2x4 I want to attach to my wall. I want to put a 2x4 up here to carry everything that I'm going to rest on it. So there it is. How wide and how long is my desk going to be? Well, let's measure this pallet and see what we have. That measures 40 inches. So, if we come there, come over 40 inches, that would be to right here. So what I want to do is take this 2x4 that I have here and cut it down to 40 inches. Because that's the width of my pallet. I could use this. I could use this, but that would be better. I'll use the 2x4. I want to show you what I'm going to use to cut that wood with. If you have a handsaw, you could do it that way. But even back when I started construction, we had power saws. This is a power saw I've had for years. Sometimes you have to choke it to get it to start, so I'm choking it, and then you got to pull the rope. Look at that. Start it right up. I'm just kidding. It's electric. Let me go cut this wood and I'll be right back in. Here's a piece of wood cut 40 inches. Well, it's supposed to be. Let's double check it and make sure. I've had a tendency of making mistakes in my car. Oh wow, look at that. 40 inches. Let's use it. So what I'll do is I'm going to attach this right there to those lines. And I'm going to use screws. I'm going to bring it away from the filing cabinet just a little bit as to give me some room. Let me get my screw gun set up. I want these 3-inch. Let's see if those are going to be long enough. A 2x4 measures A 2x4 measures 1.5 inches usually, sometimes 1 3/8 depending where you get your lumber. They call it 2x4, but it's actually 3.5 by 1.5 inches. So with this 3-inch screw, I've got at least 1.5 inches sticking out. These ribs are about 3/4, so I should be able to screw that right in there. What I didn't think about is what is it going to hit. So I've got a solution for that. I will get this 2x4 on here so I know that it'll stay in place, but there is nothing back behind this metal to catch this screw. So I'm going to be depending on the metal just to hold it in place. Okay, I've got the screw gun. I've got one end attached, and now I'm going to attach the other end. And believe it or not, even though this is metal, these screws will go through. Right there. Perfect. Perfect. Let's run this one in just a little bit more. There we go. Now to hold that so it doesn't drop down behind, I'm going to put two little kicker legs on it right here down to the floor. Will hold just fine. And I can actually overlap it and bring it down. So what I'm saying is, I could take this piece of wood and I can put it right there, mark it, cut it, screw it here. It'll hold this in place just fine. We'll have to do that out front also. But I don't need this heavy of a lumber for that. So what I'm going to use, at least right now, I'm going to use these two pieces right here. Get them used up. Hopefully they don't split. We'll see how it works. Let me get them marked and get it in here. Back in the day, when I did a lot of this work, we referred to the pencil as a stick. We'd say, give me a stick, I dropped mine. Happened a lot. As you can see, I marked that right there with my stick, pencil, and I have a square. I'm trying to be somewhat, my speed square took the place of what I used to use. You mark that. By the way, this pencil and a square are two essential tools that you'll need to do any kind of repair work around the house, along with a tape measure and a utility knife. They are all very useful tools, and they don't cost that much. You don't have to get a big fancy tape and pencils. You can a lot of times pick them up for free. Any kind of a square that you can find. This is just a cheap plastic speed square that I picked up for the shop because I break them and I lose them. And then this tape right here, you don't need a Craftsman 30-foot tape. All you need is a small 16-foot tape. Let's get this cut and I'll be right back. So that I don't split the wood with the screw, I do have a little drill set up. I'm going to put a little pilot hole through here. If I was using a finish nail, I'd just tap the pointed end of the finish nail and I would be able to drive that through, or a 8-penny nail. You wouldn't want to use a 16-penny nail for this small of lumber. We talked about that in a previous video. I would suggest that you find that. The confusion about nails. One good thing about these screws, they come with bits that fit them exactly. And I just had to change mine. Oops, wrong direction. Let's get that somewhere. Perfect. Perfect. So easy that is. You can do that with nails just as easy as I've done it with this screw gun. This takes a little longer. Another thing, when you are screwing, or you can see where I got that almost the same place. Maybe you can't see it, but anyway, you don't want them to be perfect in line because that creates a weak spot in your board. You should offset them just a little, but I'm going to run this one in and see what happens. Perfect. We'll cut one for the other side and get it completed. Okay, what we want to do next is get this attached. As you can see, I got those legs on. Got them all ready to go, and that'll stay in place now. But this will get put on here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Put this stuff out. I want to take this and put it right here. Ah, look at that. That's perfect to my line. I'm going to set that there. I'm going to put this right here to hold this outside edge. Let's see if I can get that done for you without dropping it. Hold up. There we go. Now that's where we need it. Now, if you have a level, this is where it would come in handy. I happen to have this Stabila 2-foot level. And let's see how close I am. Uh-oh, that's a little high in the outside edge. So we want to take that and see, there's this bubble right here in the center. You can't see it, I'll show it to you. See that bubble? That has to be right in between those two lines, and right now it's like that, which tells me this end is just a bit high. So we're going to take that back off, and we're going to let it drop down just a little bit and see what happens. We'll go down just about right there. Oh my, not quite enough. Right there. Uh-oh, I may have to, this isn't the way to do this, but it's the way to, there. And that's flush right there, look at that. And that's not bad there either. You know what? I'm gonna leave that alone. I didn't think I was gonna be able to, but I'm gonna screw that and just leave it right where it is. Let's put another screw in here. Now what we need to do is put one on this side. It'll go on the inside, because there's no room in the end for it on the outside. So, and then, once we get that done, I can reach in there and put a couple of screws down into that 2x, hopefully. Let me see what I can find to do this with. I'm running out of lumber. Hey, I think this will work. We'll put that right there, and we'll get the level and put it right here and get that somewhat. You're not going to believe it. I just about can't believe it. But I looked right at it, and it's true. That's perfect right where it is. I'm going to get my stick and mark it. And I'm going to square that up and cut it. When them saws are cold, sometimes you got to choke it and pull a couple of times. But now that I got that one warmed up, it's working pretty good. Hey, that's still perfect. You know what I'm going to do? I think I'll just get a couple of screws and fasten that right where it is. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, well, yeah. I gotta change the bit because these screws take a little smaller bit. Get that done. Oh, don't you love it when you can sit down on the job? Makes life so much easier when you're older. Never was able to sit down on the job when I was young. Boy, did I ever get it chewing out. Look at that. I want to show you something. I weigh 200 pounds. Well, okay, maybe a little more. What do you think, guys? Will that hold a laptop computer and a coffee cup? I think so. Now all I have to do is attach that backside so it can't pull away from the wall. How am I going to do that, you're asking? I have an idea. I think what I'm going to do is go in from under here. No, I'm not. I'm going to cut this board right here out. It's not necessary anyway. Because what I'm going to do with this is take this old shelf board that I had, you can see, and I'm going to put that right there, screw that fast, right there. Voila! Cut it up, trim it, put a face on it. What do you have? A desk! And it's something else you may not have realized, and I wasn't thinking about it either, but I think it worked out just fine. But a typical filing cabinet, let's say like this one here, measures just under 15 inches. So if you find an old 2-drawer filing cabinet, you can see this in there like that, in approximately 15 inches. This will have to be trimmed off, but a filing cabinet will fit in here just perfectly. Come out about right there. So you could have some drawers if you wanted to add it. I don't have a 2-drawer. Well, you know what, I do too. I think I'm going to bring it down here, so over there where I manage that old hardware. The thing is, getting it out of that elevated office that I work in is, I got an idea. I have some younger guys that come in there every now and then. I may ask them to carry that down for me. It's empty, fit right there. It's green, it blend right in. And for my shop, this is gonna work perfectly. For your home, probably not, but for a shop, this is not a bad idea. So, let me finish this up. I gotta get that attached to the wall, and I'll show you how I'm gonna do that, I think. We'll set this right here so it can fall down later. What I'm gonna do is get an extension, if I have one, go up underneath there. Nope, I'll come down right here. I wonder if I could do it without. Nope. Let me see what I can find. You're not going to believe this, but look what I found in my drawer over there. I did keep some of my old construction stuff, but I can put that bit right in there, and then we can go down just like that at a slight angle and catch that 2x4 under there. Let's see how that's going to work. You know, in my mind, it sounds like it should work perfectly, but in the real world, let's just test it out. Wait a minute, I don't want that long, big bit in there. Do I? Yes, I do. It's the right one. Let me get a couple of screws, and let's see how this works. Probably drop them all over the place, but let's just try it. Very carefully. Boy, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that worked perfectly. But nothing works perfectly for me these days. Let me get this one in there. Oh, wow. I can't believe it, but I have to. Let's get another one right there. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh. Yeah. You know what, that isn't going to pull out now, is it? Okay. Let's get her top measured up and attached. The best way to do that, guys, gals, is just to put it on there where you want it. And I want it right there. Yep, that's where I want it. Take your stick, go under here, and you know what? I'm gonna do one more thing before I cut this. Sometimes you just gotta stop and do something differently. Anyway, this is what I'm thinking. I think I want a filler right here so that when I cut it, it comes right to the edge of something and not this gobbledygook right here. Let me see if I got a 2x long enough. I still have this piece left. Look at that. That's going to work perfectly. Let me get my measuring tape and see what we have. I'm going to make that 20 3/4. We're going to measure from this end because it's square, and I'm going to do 20 3/4. And then I'm going to get my square, and I'll show you how I've been cutting this stuff since I've got a table to work on it right here. Let's go right there. So I made a nice square line on there. The problem is when you get older, your eyes don't work, so you got to follow that line as closely as you can. But the thing is, this isn't finished carpentry. This isn't a piano case or anything like that. It's a desk made out of scrap lumber and a pallet. Let's see what happens. So I've been using this saw here. It's one I had around for years. This is just a 7 1/4 inch Makita saw. It's a good old saw for just about anything. Always cut where your wood falls away from you with a saw like this. Otherwise, if you try to cut otherwise and the wood isn't falling away, this saw's going to pinch and jump back, and boy, I'll tell you, that hurt. That hurt. I almost cut that little finger off with that saw jumping like that. Learned my lesson. I'll never do that again. Let's see how this fits. Uh-oh. That's just what the old timers would say, a clee tight. A clee tight, Marvin. That means a little. Let's cut just a little bit more off of it. And see, when I'm just trimming, I don't usually put a line on it because I can follow it. Let's see what that. Oh, if that fit any better, it'd be crooked. I'll be. Look at that. You know what I'm gonna do? I don't know about you, but I'll tell you what I'm gonna do if I can find my tools. Here it is. Boy, I don't need that long thing anymore. Put that in. Let's grab this bit. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. You may have guessed it, but I'm gonna attach it. I'm gonna get it on and see if it works. I'm gonna keep this. By the way, when you level two ends up like this, and construction talk, that's called, you want it to be flush at the top. Flush. That means right even with what you're adjacent to. So let's, no, don't want that. Want to go down a little. Let's get our screws started. And then let's bring this flush. You can feel it right there. Oh, look at that. Oh boy. And then you can just take your little square and that's perfect. I'm going to put another screw in there. I want it to get fancy, which I don't. I could take another 2x4 and put right here down and then actually cover this with something solid. But that's probably what I should do. Nah, I'm just going to leave it. Oh, boy. Told you I wasn't a finished carpenter. Okay, let's get back to this and see if we can fit this. Look at that. I've got a little bit crooked right here, but you can take your straight edge, anything straight, it doesn't have to be a level. Once you get that line established, all you have to do is take another straight edge and straighten her out. Okay, let's see here. Oh boy, it's getting, that ground is sure a lot further away than it used to be in gravity. It's really... Sit here at my desk. How do I look? Now I gotta do is put a face on here. If I wanted to, I could build little drawers. Wouldn't that be cool? But I'm not. I'm gonna put a face on it. What I was gonna use for a face is this right here. This is an old piece of Luan. Yeah, let me get it. And I was going to sketch it something like this right here. What do you think? Give it kind of a finished look. So, got to get my pencil sharpener. You remember me saying that the knife is essential? This is one of the main uses for this knife in this kind of work. You got to sharpen your pencil once in a while. And this is how we did it in a day. Makes a nice edge on there. And that way, if it was any better, I'd think I was good, but I'm not. Okay. Good work keeps me humble by all the mistakes that I make over the years. Well, I made a lot of them. It's more than I'd like to admit. Okay. There we go. We'll go at it and mark that. And look at that. Let's cut this little bit off first. Way too much saw for this little bit of cut, but let's see how it works. Okay. Show you how. Now, we won't do it that way. I don't want to cut my fingers off, guys. So a lot of cutting on this Luan just with the utility knife. You know what I'm talking about. A knife like this, a nice sharp knife, and the thin stuff, you can grab that and follow that piece of, or that line, and it's not uncommon. Probably wiser in this sense, you know, I have a tendency of hurting myself. Probably cut myself with this knife. Oh, no, just kidding. Quit it. Go fooling around. Okay. See that? Then you can take your knife on the back side and just whack it like that. And whack it like that. And there you got it. Boy, that's straight. No, it isn't. Get it upside down since it's so crooked. And see, we'll attach that right there. Sometimes when you're working and stuff, it works out, even though you didn't plan it that way. But the way I got this on there was I put it underneath this. There was just enough lip there that it fit underneath there. Now, do a little bit of sanding on that and some paint. Straighten this leg out just a little bit. It's going to make a nice desk. What I need to do is get that filing cabinet here. I think it'll come about perfect. And even if it's down a little bit, that's going to be nice too, because then I can put a flat surface over that. I think I'm going to build a shelf up here yet. And I can use the top of this here filing cabinet. I used this 16-ounce plumb hammer. It's one I used from the very beginning in my construction, several of them over the years. The beginning years, I had missed the nail so much, I chewed this here out so bad that my hammer fell off head. Thought, do I buy a new handle? That'd have been the smart thing to do. No, what I did was just go get me another hammer. I've lost a few of these. I bought several of them. I still use it today, and my arm's in good shape for hammering. You don't lose it once you gain it. It's hard to lose the ability to hammer a nail in. So you just go like, oh, no, just kidding again. But I've hit my finger many times over the years. I'm going to leave this like this for right now. I'm out of scrap lumber. Clean up my mess. I do have this yet. I guess if I wanted to, I could put this right here and clean it up, square that edge up. I think I will. That would just finish that edge up just a little bit. But for right now, I know guys, it's rough, but you know what? That desk cost me absolutely nothing. This lumber was left over from other whatever, I don't know. But there you have it. Well, I'm gonna wind it up on this one for today. Hammer comes in handy. Saw, a few tools. You can do about anything. Can it be fixed? Yes, it can. Anything can be fixed if you're willing to put an effort into it without breaking the bank. Look around, see what you have. Use what you have available. Fix it. Sometimes you have to go to the hardware store. Sometimes you can get by.